This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
The final score, Wrexham 1, Havant and Waterlooville 0. A second consecutive Saturday in a row that we've won 1-0 at home. A second consecutive Saturday at home where we've looked impressive in the first half, got the goal. And in the second half, we found ourselves digging in and scrapping for the result. So something for Sam Ricketts to contemplate there, really, as Havant to Waterlooville, the side that looked to play good football from the back and who, despite being in the relegation zone, have been holding their head pretty high this season, scoring goals and not getting heavily beaten at all. They ask questions of us, and yeah, it's an interesting one to contemplate at the end, that we had to fight to win a match which we should have won comfortably. The reason for that, where we didn't, quite frankly, was the magnificent performance of the Havant Waterloo goalkeeper, Dudzinski, who made 5 brilliant saves that I'll go through in a moment. 4 in the first half, and a half-time at 1-0 up. It all felt very comfortable. The second half was rather more laboured for Wrexham. Mike Fondop was absent through suspension. Wrexham had to switch things around a little bit. Chris Holroyd out injured as well, but despite that, there was only 2 changes. And interestingly, Walker chosen ahead of Wright in midfield, and Wrexham, with Luke Young playing, went to more of a 4-2-3-1 than the usual 4-3-3, with Young in the hole supporting, and it worked well against the Havant back 3. That's the whole point. It was a back 3. Wrexham were able to get 4 men forwards, pressing and pressuring and forcing errors, and Havant, who were a team who tried to pass the way out from the back, was sometimes wasteful in possession. And Wrexham started well, and from the very beginning worked out chances. In fact, in the second minute, nearly took the lead, were it not for a great first intervention by Dudzinski. A really nicely worked corner, straight from the training ground. 2 men on it, short corner. It was worked back out of the box to Young, 25 yards out, who pinged a sharp return ball to Maguire-Drew, the player who took the initial corner, and then had made a run down into the box from the corner flag. He brought the ball down and drove in a powerful shot, and there was Dudzinski to make his first excellent save, getting a hand to it and touching it onto the bar, the ball bouncing away to safety. 7 minutes later, Maguire-Drew must have been wondering just what he'd done to upset Dudzinski, when once again the keeper was touching the ball onto the bar. This time it was Walker doing well to feed an early ball on to Bevan, whose endeavour and hard work in the first half hour caused Havant an awful lot of problems. He worked the ball into the left-hand side. Maguire-Drew cutting in onto his right foot, showing he's two-footed, of course, because usually it's his left foot that he rips the ball in with set pieces and long-range shots. Cut inside, hit a powerful shot, looking for the top right corner, and again Dudzinski was there to get a hand to it and touch it onto the bar. Strong start by Wrexham, and the fact that Havant came to play football and were looking to work the ball out for the back was encouraging Wrexham. They were allowed some spaces, they were forcing errors sometimes, latching on that and breaking with pace. The front 3 looking lively, Young getting up well in support, both pressing and creating, but Havant were tidy with the ball and knew how to move it around, and they managed to weather that bit of pressure and started to get themselves a bit of equilibrium. They were spending good spells of time in the Wrexham half, putting them under pressure. And Wrexham really seemed to run out of momentum as the half started to meander somewhat away from them. So it was a little bit of a shock when in the 31st minute Wrexham scored what turned out to be the decisive goal of the game. An early ball fed forwards. Little element of luck, quite frankly, or maybe something you should applaud Bevan for. He was unable to control it, but stretching, he somehow managed to tread on the ball and stop it dead. Pike was opportunistic enough to spot that and run onto it, and he did very well then, and running into the box, cutting it back onto his right foot and finishing powerfully into the bottom right corner. Typically, Dudzinski, on his magic day, lunged for it well, and it looked for a moment like it might get a hand to it, but he couldn't quite, and he was beaten. Wrexham would be thanking their lucky stars. They at least found one shot good enough to keep the ball past the inspired keeper. Pike, of course, breaking his lifetime record, the 4th goal of his career, the first one he's hit with the front of his foot, and Wrexham were very grateful for it, and they continue to push on. They finished the half well, making some more chances. Maguire-Drew had a crowded goal mouth to aim for, lots of argy-bargy. Guess what? Sean Pearson in the middle of that, he was shoving Cordner all over the place. Cordner was reciprocating. One corner came in and was cleared away for another corner, and when Maguire-Drew floated that invitingly beyond the grasp of Dudzinski. Pearson attacking at a close range at the far post, just couldn't quite reach it to divert it in to the empty net. Then at the end of the half, again, another couple of opportunities. Summerfield with a free kick, left-hand side, 35 yards out, ripped nastily with typical good shape into the goal mouth. Nobody touched it, but Dudzinski couldn't commit himself until the last moment as it bounced through the crowd. He did superbly to get down low to his left and get a hand to it and push it onto the post. Then there was a heck of a scramble afterwards as the ball came back out again. Pearson attacking it a couple of yards out, tried to drive in a shot. A good challenge came in. Havant blocking in and around the penalty area was excellent, as Wrexham often worked themselves into positions to be denied by brave defending. So Pearson's effort was denied. It span back out, it was driven straight back in. A great block on the line, and Havant surviving the huge scramble. They had one more frightening moment though in the half. In the last minutes of the half, a flick by Maguire-Drew sending Wrexham away. Summerfield and a 1-2 breakaway. He fed Young. Young helped it into Pike, and Pike taking on the last defender, shifting it onto his right foot again, went for power, driving it towards the bottom right corner. A tremendous save this by Dudzinski, my pick of the 5, as he managed to get stretching down low to his left with enough strength on it to get his wrist onto it and push it back over the bar and out for the corner. Tremendous goalkeeping that by the Havant keeper. The second half was a completely different affair. It started off basically very soporifically. Neither side really able to impose themselves on the game. It was very, very scrappy. Very little momentum was really built up by either. Wrexham had an opportunity from a 3-on-3 break. It was halted, it seemed, when Maguire-Drew was taken up very late on the edge of the area, but the referee, Simon Mather, who didn't have the best of games, I'll get back to him in a minute, didn't give the foul. As Maguire-Drew was fouled, he worked out wide, and Summerfield on the left flank cut in well, and it's a good strike which just scraped the right post as it went behind for the goal kick. Real surprise the ref didn't either pull play back for the free kick or just administer a yellow anyway. Within 2 minutes, Havant had their best moment of the match. Robinson, the midfielder, coming forward, trying to feed us at the edge of the area. Walker made a good interception, but the ball came back off him, ricocheting straight to Robinson, and he hit a good strike from left to centre just outside the box, aiming for the top right corner. He just missed the ball, scraping past the right post. Then it was Wrexham pushing on. Good skill by Bevan to tame an awkwardly bouncing ball, driving through the middle. Again, he fed on a 4-on-3 break in Wrexham's favour, because they haven't often getting outnumbered in their own half when they lost the ball, passing it out from the back. Maguire-Drew swung the ball into the box dangerously. It was half cleared, and then Luke Summerfield attacking it about 15 yards out. A difficult volley. He couldn't keep her under control and sliced it up over and wide. Imagine, if you will, Ivan Rakitic's tremendous volley goal in midweek in the Champions League at Wembley against Tottenham. That was the sort of thing he was trying to do, and it turned out he wasn't Ivan Rakitic and couldn't pull it off. A very difficult skill to pull off though. And then the game went through a strange fallow period. That was about half an hour left when that shot went wide, and there was very little else to report in terms of goal-mouth action. Haven't changed their system from a 3 at the back to diamonds with 4 at the back, and it caused Wrexham problems. They were able to get extra men forwards. Pavey came on as a big target man, and he caused some issues too, although Lawler was imperious in the air at the back. And haven't just started to take control of midfield. Wrexham had to make changes in the middle of the pitch themselves in order to try and adjust to that. Akeel Wright came on to shore things up. Rutherford came on the right to track back and replace Maguire-Drew. And it was just all getting changed around. Devidix coming on the left-hand side very late on and had a nice little cameo, but late chances weren't really happening. Wrexham had a chance, though, just to pull one final great save out of Dudzinski. Roberts getting down the right-hand side after initially Wrexham would come forwards and Summerfield had a shot blocked. Roberts swinging the cross in, Pike at the far post attacking it, won it 6 yards out with his body. It dropped invitingly in front of him. He just went for power, trying to smash it gleefully into the net. Unluckily for him, Dudzinski had seen the situation developing, came out quickly, made himself big, and made an excellent block with his left arm to ricochet the ball away to safety. And Wrexham were having to dig in and hang on a bit at the end. It must be said, didn't really create chances. Robinson's shot I mentioned earlier, very much the best. In the second minute of added time, there was one last effort. Stock launching a free kick up into the edge of the area. Kabamba making contact with a glancing header, which had good pace on it. Langton with a spectacular catch to his left. To be honest, though, I think it was going wide anyway. and Wrexham had to dig in and grind it out for the victory. There were a couple of strange little refereeing moments late on. The referee seemed determined to keep his cards in his pocket and was lucky that it wasn't a bad-tempered game, in all honesty. But late on there were just a couple of little incidents which might have tested him. The first one was a peculiar one when the ball was played forwards, and Young did well to latch onto an excellent pass by Dudzinski. Was absolutely flattened by Gordner on the edge of the area, a blatant free kick, and the referee gave nothing. The linesman looked furious, flagging his flag angrily at the ref. The ref had to give it. I don't know if the linesman actually managed to say something on the earpiece or not. The referee then pulled out a yellow, which seemed odd considering a moment ago he didn't even think it was a foul. But anyway, the free kick by Dudzinski was deflected out of play for a corner. And then late on, the free kick which Stock put in for Kabamba to have that header was one when Havant tried to break and Lawler committed himself on the right flank to challenging for a loose ball. I do think he was going for the ball, but he misjudged it and went in, missing the ball with his studs up and took his man pretty high up on the leg. It wasn't a great tackle, and Havant were adamant it was a stamping challenge and should have been a red card. I could see their point, although I don't think Lawler went in with that intent. Certainly he made contact, as they studs up. The referee gave a yellow, and well, it was a contentious little moment. So the referee having a hairy little time of it late on. But anyway, the key thing is Wrexham also had a bit of a hairy time of it, but they came out of it with the victory. For a bit more analysis, have a listen to what Lee Miflord and myself had to say after the final whistle on Callan FM.
This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
Well, Lee, a 1-0 home win, as we said in commentary. That's the third home game in a row when our first half has been really at it, and then our second half has seen us fade considerably. Extenuating circumstances with the Ebbsfleet game, because the game was just won at half-time, but that was, like the Barnet game, that was slightly worrying that we can dominate a game so much, but then find ourselves having to dig in at the end to claim the win.
Yeah, it's the last two games that we've seen that, like you said, the Ebbsfleet one's an exception. When you're 4-0 up at half-time, there's not a lot more you need to do in the second half. But when you go into the Barnet game and this one again today, where you're 1-0 up, and we just seem to sit back and invite pressure, and it's something where, you know, no disrespect to Barnet or Havant, if we come up against a better side, a top of the league side, we're going to struggle to hold on, and it's something we've really got to push on and try and get that second goal.
Yeah, I wonder what the reasons are. I mean, sometimes we can be quite high energy in our pressing, but I don't know if today or Barnet we were particularly, but I don't know, maybe the opponents just adapted better than we did in the second half. Certainly haven't changed their shape. Went to a midfield diamond, and that did cause us problems, although, to be fair, we defended well against Barnet. And today, I'm saying this, Havant didn't really create chances, did they, really? Like I said, against a better team, they would do.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There was no chances. There was opportunities from them, but there wasn't. I can't even remember a shot on target from them for the whole 90 minutes. So there was always that threat there. But yeah, against a Leighton Orient, off the top of my head, Salford, they're gonna create a lot more chances in teams like this, and we've just got to try and not kill the game. You know, we've got to try and kill the game, and that's something we haven't done in the last couple.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't remember a shot on target either, although there was that flick on in added time. Leighton dived and saved to his left, but it looked to me like it was going wide, I think, and the other good effort they had was that shot where trying to shave the right post, a great effort. It was strange because the first half we created so many chances, and the story of the game really, of course, is Dudzinski, who made 5 magnificent saves. Yeah,
we did. The first half, I think, was a really good game. You know, if you came to Wrexham as a neutral and just watched the game, I think that was a great half of football. But no, the story of the game really was the goalkeeper, wasn't he? You know, the 4 great saves in the first half, and then I think the one in the second half was fantastic from close range. The power behind the shot, and to put a strong hand out to it, and you know, he didn't palm it out to another attacker. He palmed it out for a throw-in. So no, he did really well in the game.
And we started with that 4-2-3-1 of Luke Young higher up the pitch than you would normally see our midfielders supporting the striker, and that seemed to work well as well, didn't it? You know, we were getting bodies into the box, we were able to press with that extra man as well, and in the first half that was highly effective, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoy Wrexham playing that sort of position, that attacking midfield role that Young can play. I think he plays it very well, but again, he kind of got lost in that second half. We didn't really see that sort of position or the creativity that he had in that first half, so that was disappointing once again. That second half, it's just about getting your foot on the ball, seeing the second half out, and you know, maybe making a couple of opportunities that we didn't do today,
which makes your man of the match call quite tricky, because it was a sort of performance of two halves, and there were a few players maybe who caught the eye in the first half who faded in the second. So it's a tough decision, but I'm a cruel taskmaster, and I'm still going to ask you for a name.
I might have to pass it over to you, because honestly, I can't point one out.
Well, let's talk it through and see if we can have a collegiate decision. Leighton had nothing to do. Well, he took a good high ball late on, which was admirable. I thought Roberts was strong defensively, as was Lawler, more than the other two. Carrington was neat going forwards, did nothing wrong. So maybe Roberts and Lawler are contenders. Midfield, Walker was classic Walker. His passing was sometimes a bit wasteful. His defensive work could be very good.
I thought he was good in the second half. I thought he stepped it up from the first half, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's played more in his territory. Us having to defend meant he had to work. Summerfield had a decent game in midfield, but because of that 4-2-3-1, maybe a little deeper than normal and harder to influence the game.
Definitely.
Perhaps. And then we had, of course, Young, who was lively in the first half. Like this is the issue, isn't it, really, with the rest of the front four. Young, lively in the first half, but having to do more work chasing the ball in the second. Pike, I thought, and Bevan particularly, I thought, would work the defenders very hard. Maguire-Drew, it was a sort of classic Maguire-Drew performance where he did some lovely, skillful things, but you hear the fans sometimes getting a little frustrated when he tried to do something that didn't come off.
Yeah,
I like the fact he tries it, mind.
He tried a couple of things. They don't always come off, but he did have a good game today, I thought, and I thought Pike did well as well. He kind of acted as a sort of target man and held the ball up quite well in times.
Pike got the goal as well. I'm feeling we're going to have to argue between Roberts and Pike. Would you throw Lawler in there as well?
I'd throw Lawler in there. Yeah. I'll let you choose.
Paper, scissors, stone.
Can if you want.
With 70 minutes on air left, maybe we shouldn't be quite so random. I think Pike. Just got the goal as well.
Go on then.
Worked hard. Pike. We'll go Pike.
We'll go Pike.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go, everyone. Democracy doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, maybe we're sounding a little downcast because we had to grind out that second half. But the fact of the matter was, the first half, we could have scored 4 easily in that first half, and we shouldn't forget that. But yeah, maybe it's good, is it? We can show both sides of our character and grinding out a victory after some fluent first half football.
Yeah, I suppose so. Take that goalkeeper away and put anyone else in after the performance he put in today, and we would have been 4-0 up like the Ebbsfleet game. So it's good to see, like you say, maybe the first half we can show what we can create, in the second half how we can defend well.
Yeah, absolutely, which we did against Barnet, although Barnet got some dangerous stuff in the box last week, but we still was closer out. And the fact is, we bounced back from that disappointment with Sutton with a good away draw at Harrogate, and then back-to-back home wins, which, with the top 3 all winning away from home as well, means that we've kept pace with them, and hopefully it's starting to burn off the teams below. A satisfactory day at the office. I'll hand back to the studio with a final score of Wrexham 1, Havant and Waterlooville 0.
This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.